Alright, so this is episode 2 of learning how to drift in Assetto Corsa. So at the end of episode 1, I got a pretty decent feel and understanding of throttle control and just how to control the car in general. In the beginning of episode 1 and the beginning of me playing the game, I just literally everything felt foreign to me. But by the end of the episode, I had a decent feel. I wouldn't say it was great, but it was a decent feel. In episode 2, I'm picking up where I left off. I started doing donuts around a set of 4 cones instead of just 1 cone. It helped me understand how to control the car a little bit more because you're going faster, I guess, and it's just more of a balancing act. Doing bigger figure 8s helped me understand a little bit better of how much throttle you're supposed to give when transitioning. I think starting out with doing donuts and figure 8s is pretty important in learning how to drift because, I don't know, I just see people hop into, a random track, or even they just hop into an online server. First time on the game, first time on the wheel, they just hop online and they try drifting and, they're just crashing and messing up everybody's lines. Even hopping into your own single play, I feel like hopping into a track and just trying to throw the car around and trying to drift right away isn't the best idea because, especially if you have no idea what you're doing. If you have drifted in real life or something like that, then sure, but if you've never touched a wheel before, I don't know, I feel like you need to actually understand throttle control and how to control the car in a general sense before you actually start completing a circuit or a course. But yeah, with that being said, I ended up getting pretty comfortable with controlling the car. I got an okay sense of throttle control. My friend and I even hopped into a server and tried doing tandems. Wasn't the best, but I mean, we got a decent little clip in. So this episode's all about learning how to entry. I go over 4 different ways of how to entry. Number 1 is power over, number 2 is ebrake, number 3 is clutch kicking, and then number 4 is flicks or feints, or the Scandinavian flick, whatever you want to call it. Those are the ways I've heard it called. I'm just going to call it flicking for now. Easiest for me. Alright, so this is my first attempt at power over entry. As expected, I drilled the wall, came in way too hot. I'm just going to say this right now. So I don't know why the course is set up this way, but for me personally, I could not entry at all into this corner, at all. So if you're watching this and you're struggling trying to learn how to entry into this corner, literally just flip sides. Go to the other side and you'll see it later on in this video, but go to the other side and try to entry. It's a million times better. So with that being said, eventually I figured out how to kind of entry on this side. I think the biggest thing was just to go a lot slower. I think I was trying to entry in 3rd gear first, and then I would just bog down. So threw it into 2nd, and then started a lot slower, and then gave it gas, powered over, and then entried. But here I am on the other side. As you can see, I think this is my 1st or 2nd try trying to power over entry, and super easy. So yeah, like I said, if you're having troubles on the other side, switch over. It's so much better. So entering with the ebrake was also super easy. I won't stay on that too long at all. But the only thing that I can say about the ebrake was I didn't realize how much faster you had to go at first. I was kind of just going the same speed as I was going when I was doing the power over entry. So yeah, I just picked up the speed a little bit and then ripped the ebrake. Once the car's sideways, give it gas and you're good to go. So clutch kicking was kind of interesting to me because it was easy, but at the same time, I feel like it's also really easy to mess up. I think I started out turning the wheel and then clutch kicking, and then I would pretty much just oversteer way too much and either spin out or just have way too much angle. So I think what I started doing was clutch kicking and turning the wheel at the same time, and then letting the wheel spin back by itself. So I knew the flick entry wasn't going to be easy, So what I did was hop back into the airport drift track, and I started getting the feel for using the car's momentum to initiate. So yeah, I just went straight down the strip and started throwing the wheel side to side and trying to kind of hold it to the left and hold it to the right, and without spinning out and having decent control. I definitely recommend finding a straightaway like this and just getting a feel and throwing the momentum of the car side to side before you actually hop into a track and trying to flick entry. So as you can imagine, my first couple flick entries were terrible. What I had a hard time with at first was understanding that I needed to break traction first. I needed to use like a slight dip to the left and then crank hard to the right to break enough traction, and then let the car's weight throw itself into the angle, into the initiation. Also, when I first started doing the flick entry, I was using way too much gas, or I guess I was trying to power through the initiation way too much. For example, when I would start the feint, I would dip left, holding the gas pedal, and then crank right, still holding the gas pedal, and I would just be maxing out RPMs, and I wouldn't be able to gain any momentum. So when I first started doing the flick entry, I was flying in third gear down the straightaway, and yeah, it definitely was not working out for me. I switched my mindset and thought, like, if I was doing this in real life, I probably wouldn't be, flooring it and then trying to flick into an entry. I'd first start slow in second gear more than likely and not throw the car as hard and flick into the entry more gracefully. Once I got a decent feel for it in second gear, I hopped into third gear, and then I would shift down to second before I'd pick up the angle and continue the drift. So what I'm having the biggest trouble with right now kind of leads into the next episode, which is transitioning. As you can see right now when I'm doing this flick entry, once I get the momentum of the car going, I let go of the steering wheel and it's just like bouncing off of max angle. Like, as you can see, my wheel just bounces off of max angle right there. And then I kind of grab the wheel and try to correct it instead of catching the wheel at the right time and matching it with throttle. So that's definitely something I'll be working on going into next episode.